Good evening, I am USHAKOVA. Welcome to my channel, USHAKOVA, Elegant Influencer. It is November 1, 2020, and in the United States, where I live, we are 2 days away from Election Day to vote in the next President of the United States. And probably everyone listening to this video or watching this video knows that the election is coming in a couple of days. Not just those of us who live in the US, of course, because it is an event that has global implications, and everyone in the world is connected today. And the United States is certainly a very powerful nation and creates policies that affect not only us in the United States, but everyone in the world. I thought I would take a few minutes today to talk about something I have been thinking about ever since the campaigning for the presidential election has become more and more heated, the rhetoric more and more heated. And watching the people who are following the candidates and understanding that this is a nation divided, really and truly divided, according to which political candidate, which candidate for president you believe in or you would like to see become the next president. So there is a tremendous amount of anger that is manifesting in violence on the streets of this country. The pandemic and the various countries in lockdown or returning to lockdown, the UK, France, Germany, people have, pandemic fatigue, and yet the numbers are going sky high. So the country is trying, the governments are trying to mitigate, how many people will end up in hospitals because their capacity, before it becomes sort of so wildly out of control. And so in Europe, in the moment, you have your own problems on that level, and containing people who really are tired of being in lockdown. Understandably tired of being in lockdown mode. They want to hug their family members. They want to hug their friends. They want to get away from the masks, And yet it is what it is. This is how we're living today in order to keep ourselves safe and others. Back to the anger and the frustration and all of that acting out, in violent scenes across the United States right now during this campaign. And of course, the concern is that on Election Day and thereafter, for who knows how long, we have the possibility of having tremendous civil unrest in this country as a result of what might happen, when the ballots are counted, or how long they'll take to count. And is it this candidate who has won? Is it really? Or do we have to finish counting ballots and find out who the candidate really is? So there's so many possibilities that are unclear at the moment. So here we are in a field that is rife with judgment and loud voices and intimidation and information that is not correct, mostly coming out of the camp of, it is, don't even want to say this, but most of it coming from the camp of the current president of the United States, who seemingly will make up any story to suit his campaign and do anything he can possibly think of to be reelected, including not telling the truth. So I'll leave it at that at the moment in terms of that piece. What I really want to focus on is, how are you as an individual looking at your own angry feelings or feelings of frustration and thinking that the other one is wrong and you're right. And what gives you the right to act out the anger if you are one of those people who is? Whether you bring that anger home in your own home that has nothing to do with anyone living with you, but you're just so frustrated, be it the lockdown, be it the election here in the United States, be it Poland where they've banned abortions, and whatever you believe in, women marching in the streets. So the world is in turmoil right now. It's not just the United States. It's a global field of energy, if I might call it that. It is really, really important, and I'm going to ask all of us to do this, to look at ourselves. Whatever the trauma is that, trust me, began in childhood for all of us, whatever it is you're reacting to today as an adult, isn't coming from what you're witnessing in the moment. It's coming in the way that you're reacting to it. If you're reacting angrily and manifesting that anger in intimidation or any form of violence or abuse, we are triggered by events from our childhood, by what we learned in our own homes and observed our parents doing, behaving, acting out in some way, or in the schools when we were children. Some children were bullied, some children were the bullies. There's so many things that happen to us in our formative years that we absorb like sponges. And then when we grow up and become adults and we move into our lives as adults, we don't even realize all of this, that we're this trauma, these little traumatic events in our lives that we take with us. And we bring into our marriages, we bring it into our work environments, we bring it into our friendships. We don't even realize it. It's like an invisible ghost that lives within us, this trauma event or events that are triggered by some other event as we're adults that are totally unrelated, but anger wells up because maybe we were bullied as children and we're now feeling bullied by, for example, the President of the United States and his group of followers, so many of whom are intimidating the other side, so to speak. So it's really important that you find, those of you who come to my channel and have watched my videos or have listened to them as a podcast when you're driving, because I have a playlist link here and you can do that. You can be in your car and you can choose a playlist and just listen to various content that I've created. This is my 26th video today. I've been doing this since early on in the pandemic, sheltering in place lockdown days, to try to deal with what we're going through as individuals, as a collective. And I have no claim on being right, and I just want you to know that. I'm coming to you from my own experience in life, from being an educated, highly educated, well-trained professional in the field of transformation and consciousness. I'm a transformational life coach. I have worked for years with individuals and groups. I have chaired committees. I have been vice chairman of various organizations and so on. I've worked with people forever. I'm a very relational human being, and I'm just witnessing, feeling, watching on the news, no matter what channel we might focus in on what is going on outside the streets of the United States of America, where the police have to actually guide shop owners in various cities in the United States well in advance of Election Day on Tuesday, November 3rd, to board up their shops because they're expecting violence and looting and all of that. All of these kinds of feelings aren't coming from the outside at us. They're coming from the inside of us out. I hope you understand that. For example, I'll give you an example. if I find myself getting irritated, and to the point where I'm starting to feel angry at someone really not understanding me at all and misinterpreting what I'm saying, or coming at me in some way that is really, I feel, perhaps hostile or not friendly, I have a choice that I can make in that moment. I can either choose to stop right there and not escalate the situation by reacting, because maybe as a child I remember defending my brothers and sisters from bullies, and there I'd be, on the school bus when we lived in Munich, and I would be the one to get up and say, "What are you doing? How dare you push my sister or my brother?" So I had my own experiences as a little girl, feeling, that I needed to defend my brothers and sisters. So here I am as an adult, and again, I'm feeling I have to defend who? Myself? So there are many ways to get your thoughts across to someone, and sometimes the moment isn't at that very moment that someone is sort of saying things to you. Best to walk away perhaps and say, "Look, full stop, I can't engage you right now, but I do want to engage the conversation tomorrow or the next day. Let's calm down." There are different ways of calming ourselves, but really and truly, it is our individual traumas that we have experienced in our past that come back to haunt us as adults if we do not work them through. And you can do this without therapy. You really can. I mean, you can do it with therapy, with coaching. You can engage me, you can engage others to work through these kinds of things in your own life if they're repetitive patterns. Or you can just sit quietly with yourself. When you take a walk, when you sit quietly, when you, go deep within, see what it is that is really bothering you. Where's this anger really coming from? We all have to tamp it down right now because the field is just electric. The field of energy worldwide is you can almost feel the charge, the electricity running through various populations. Let's all dial it back, dial it down, right? And stop attacking one another. And I don't mean just physically in some instances. I mean verbally. Facebook is rife with both sides in this country, candidates, campaigns, speaking out, and the best place to speak out is at the ballot box. So if you in the United States have not yet voted, no matter who your candidate is, you have a big voice as an individual. Vote. Vote before Election Day if you can. You're not going to change the field of energy all by yourself. You're not going to be able to control the major events that are going on around you right now at all. But what you can do is contribute to a new field of energy. One that, as the 13th century poet and mystic, Sufi mystic, Rumi, talked about as, and it's a paraphrase, that somewhere between here and there and this field and that, I'll meet you in the middle. I'll meet you in the middle. In other words, and this is a big paraphrase, I don't remember it exactly, but somewhere between the field of right and wrong, let me meet you. Let's begin by saying that we can meet each other somewhere between right and wrong and start anew. That's my hope. That's my prayer. That's my request of all of us. Beginning today, November 1, let's dial it down. Let's find some peace in our hearts. Calm ourselves. It'll calm those around us. Thank you for being here. Thank you to my subscribers. If you're not a subscriber, I cover content that covers the waterfront of life, love, inspired living, exquisite aging at any age. Click on the subscribe button, click on the little notification bell, and if you do those two things, you'll always be notified when I post a video, and then when you have the time, you can watch it at your leisure. If you like my videos, give me the thumbs up. If you want to leave a comment that is positive and constructive, that we can all be part of a conversation with, and grow from and learn from. This is a global community. I'm building a global community here, but one of positive vibes. So if that's you, welcome in. I wish you all well. I send you a big kiss for a wonderful evening, wherever you are in the world, at whatever time you're listening to this channel. Thank you for being here.